Good evening, everyone. I find it very difficult and hard to believe that myself and this year's Guild Officer team has reached this point already. It only seemed like a few months ago that we were commencing our officer training back in June 2012. I regret to inform you that it is with great sadness that I make this speech to you this evening. In little over a few weeks, I'll be leaving Birmingham for good after a cracking 4 years, particularly the last. I've never been prouder to pull on the blue, red and gold of the University of Birmingham. For obvious reasons, it is no secret that I felt I was capable of serving another term in this position. The Guild Officer campaign of 2013 was so much tougher than that of 2012, primarily because my lack of close friends this year that played such a huge role in 2012's victory. Therefore, I'm leaving despite my work really being only half done. Despite almost sulking through the whole of March and April and still thinking what might have been, I'm finally learning to accept that the students of the University of Birmingham have had enough of their current Vice President of Sport and wanted a fresh start and a change in direction. I must apologise to my officer team for not being the same person since this time. However, I am incredibly grateful to my girlfriend, my parents and my remaining close friends for getting me through this tough time. However, I'm going to use this platform tonight to state my firm belief that 2-year sabbatical officers are far more effective than 1-year sabbatical officers, primarily because of the continuity, as well as 1 year not really being enough time to change the direction of the Guild, and particularly the long-term strategic direction of the university. I encourage this year's sabbatical officer team and future sabbatical officer teams who have already graduated to strongly consider the option of doing a 2-year stint in office. From networking with other sabbatical officers around the country, the students' unions that appear to be doing best around the country, across the board, are those that have a culture where there are 2-year sabbatical officers. Obviously, this is something that should only be attempted for the right, passionate reasons, but it is a culture that I strongly believe the Guild should be looking to adopt. So, my year in office, despite that rather melancholy start to my speech, the last 12 months, particularly the first 8, have been truly amazing. As an activity SAB, I have been remarkably astounded by the amount of time students volunteer to ensure that their extracurricular delights are able to run so successfully. This year, I've had the pleasure of working with all elements of University of Birmingham sport, as well as large parts of the Guild. I strongly believe what a students' union is first and foremost about is encouraging students to come together, find common interests, and feel included during their studies. The Guild, of course, plays other vital functions, but providing the stage for creating opportunities for students to make friends and have a laugh through activities, for me, is the most important issue that this union should be taking care of. One of my key desires over the past year has been to increase participation within sports, but more generally across student activities. During my 3 undergraduate years, I was disappointed to see so many students not take full advantage of the opportunities they had whilst they were a student. Given UB Sport and the Guild offer so much to get involved with, this year I've been driven to encourage students who previously were completely disengaged in extracurricular activities to reverse this and get involved. University is about so much more than books and the library. It is also about sports clubs, committees, societies, and going out and having a good time. In terms of my other areas of work, I don't want to spend too long covering myself in glory, but nonetheless, if you don't mind, I'm going to do for a short while. Over the last week, I had the pleasure of presenting Sports Board 2013. This was a brilliant evening, and it was fantastic to celebrate all the success, sporting-wise, that the University of Birmingham has over the last year, finishing once again for the 9th year out of 10 in the top 3 of BUCS. And that's for those of you who don't know, the governing body for higher education sport. Likewise, Sports Awards last night. It is almost sad to see 10 months of work over and done with at the end of one night. Getting elected as an NUS delegate to attend NUS National Conference 2013 in Sheffield was also a highlight. In fact, spending time with my other Vice President Sport and Vice President Student Activity counterparts around the country from other students' unions at NUS and BUCS events was great. I've also been proud to redefine the Vice President Sport role to be additionally focused on health and fitness. This was crowned by the name change. From 2014-15, the Vice President Sport will be known as the Vice President Sport and Nutrition. With the consolidation of the January 2nd Sports Fair and the introduction of 9-month gym membership, I feel students are now certainly getting better value for money than sport at the University of Birmingham. There's also been sports night and sports clubs forums and mini forums, which now have guild councillors, I might add, to cap off an excellent year of face-to-face member engagement. Finally, on this front, where would I be without Park Run, in particular Cannon Hill Park Run? For those of you who don't know, Park Run is a community event that the Guild supports in its beliefs and commitments. It is a completely free 5-kilometre run for all abilities, regardless of your past athletic experience. There are over 180 parkruns in the UK and more abroad. More University of Birmingham students than ever have attended this wonderful participatory event. It has been a priority of mine this year to encourage more students to come along. It has been an enormous pleasure to serve as your Vice President Sport over the last year, and something that I'm immensely proud of. I must admit, I'm very excited about the prospect of having my name inscribed on the board behind me. However, the people that know me will be well aware of my strong sentimental side. The position of Vice President Sport is often dismissed as being less important, less relevant to big decisions, but I'd urge Vicky to continue fighting this. For the Vice President Sport is a Vice President and thus retains the same amount of authority as any other Vice President in this union. On top of this, as an activity SAB, the Vice President Sport plays a huge role in making sure students are involved in extracurricular activities. I've already made reference to how important I feel these are. It is an interesting position to be in as well. Being a Vice President of a student union, with the remit workload largely being based in a university department, namely UB Sport. Having no official power in UB Sport, but still being expected to shape it is a challenge, but life is no fun without challenges. Once again, before I make my absolute closing remarks, I'd like to apologise for having to leave early. I know it's very disrespectful for me not to listen to my fellow officers' leaving speeches. However, I have a really important day tomorrow where I have to be up at 5:30. So that's why I'm leaving. But I will be watching every single one on YouTube, I can assure you, scrupulously. I suppose that all that's left to say is good luck to everyone in the future. Cheers to the Guild earlier on for honorary officer life membership. And good luck to Vicky, who will be taking over as Vice President of Sport. You have my full support. Over and out, Jimmy Hughes, aka James and the Giant Peach, Vice President of Sport 2012-13. Thank you.